On today's episode of WatchJRGo, we are here with the amazing looking new Hyundai Tucson Hybrid. What is going on, guys? I am WatchJRGo, and today, like I said, out here in beautiful California, who would have guessed, what a great backdrop for the new Tucson. So we're gonna walk around this thing real quick, talk about it, and do a quick walkthrough of the whole car and what it's like to drive. All right, guys, let's talk about this thing real quick. The 2025 Tucson obviously has a few changes from the last generation. I think is this the 5th generation, something like that? The front end has changed a little bit, but we're gonna talk about these wheels that look amazing. These 19s wrapped in Michelins from the factory. These are the Michelin Primacy all seasons, and obviously a great tire that's pretty predictable. I don't know why we're talking about predictability and handling on a family SUV, but I have thrown it around in the canyons for quite a few hours now, 2 solid hours of some driving. And we're not trying to push the limits or do anything crazy you'd be doing in sports cars, but I can tell you that it's predictable. And predictability is obviously an incredibly good thing to have on a family car. In inclement weather, snow, rain, you know, anything that's not ideal, you really do want predictability and handling and great tires. And this thing does that. So if you're worried about your family's safety, and you probably are if you're buying this, it's got your back. Now this thing is loaded, and we're going to talk about some of the safety suite and some of that other stuff as we drive this and walk around it. But we do have ultrasonic parking sensors right here in the front. Always good to see. The redesigned front grille that actually I think looks even better. There's DRLs hiding behind this chrome. I know, you can't even see it, right? How cool is that? Really nice big quad LED fog lights down here in the corner. Ultrasonics all the way around. We've got a front camera right there. The new satin black Hyundai badges. This is interesting here. It looks like one of the DRLs might even be lighting up that tiny little corner right there, because this is part of the DRL package right there, even though it just looks like solid chrome. Little markers down here. Lots of black satin cladding there, which honestly looks really good. It kind of sets this thing off and really accents the scallops here on the side. Gotta love the way this thing looks. You do have the camera suite right here, turn signals, and these are not power folding mirrors either. They just push, open, and close. Blind spot warning right there. Flashes, of course, if you try to make a turn into somebody. Touch the door handle for lock and unlock, always great. Let's open up this back door, see what it's like. Everybody buying these is probably putting a car seat in the back, and look how gigantic that door is. If you're putting a car seat in the back, you can easily stand here and have an absolute ton of room to strap in your car seats. Speaking of car seats, latch, got the little latch logos right there. Rear dual cup holders. You know what, we'll get to the interior here in a second. Let's close that door and keep going around the exterior of this thing, because it looks great. I love the back end of this. I love this Hyundai logo that's in the glass. Look at that, it's completely flat. And then third brake light is hiding the wiper up under the spoiler there. And then out back, we've got LEDs going all the way across the back. Beautiful taillights, honestly. Love the little accents in there. The rear camera, more ultrasonic parking sensors across the back right there. It looks like reverse lights, nice and low. And then of course, a little pop open cover for the tow point. And let's see, we've got power hatch, right? Nice. A nice big hatch, tons of storage. This isn't a new story. We've looked at a lot of Hyundais recently, and the back hatches are huge. Tons of space. Subwoofer. It does look like that's the subwoofer, maybe a 6-inch subwoofer right there. Pretty cool. 6.5. A little sub-trunk storage. Hey, look at that. We have the window sticker here, but there's no MSRP on this. How cool is that? It just says TBD. The only additional feature is carpeted floor mats. Ooh, look at that. There's a computer in the sub-trunk for ADAS with a fan that's running. That's pretty sick. Look at all those heat sinks. I love seeing stuff like that exposed. Although I do wonder about that fan. It's a little interesting that it's just hanging out in there. Also here in the hatch, we've got a little 12-volt accessory socket, 180 watts right there. Some LED lighting to light up your luggage or whatever you need to work on. Remote releases for the seats. Boom. Let's hit this button, close the hatch. A really big gas door right here. And speaking of gas, we should talk about this drivetrain. So this is the 1.6 liter turbocharged hybrid drivetrain, and it is pretty incredible, honestly. It can go almost 500 miles on a tank of gas. One tank of gas, 500 miles. That's impressive, especially because it's a relatively small tank. I love that. I mean, if you can hang on as long as the car, you could drive a very long time without making a single gas station stop. That 1.6 liter turbocharged engine with the hybrid system combined delivers an incredible 231 horsepower and 271 foot-pounds of torque combined, while getting 38 miles per gallon combined in the all-wheel drive trim. You got to think about it. That's a good bit of weight. It's a good bit of drivetrain. All of that is combined together, and it still gets almost 40 miles per gallon, which is incredible. You guys know I love to get under the hood and take a look at what it's going to be like to work on this thing, and it looks like it's going to be pretty reasonable to work on. There's room between the firewall and the turbo, 4 inches of room right there. I do like that they wrapped all the AC lines right there so that they wouldn't get, you know, melted by the turbo being right there, even though the turbo has a heat blanket as well. So that probably actually helps a ton with that insulation right there. Air filter, obviously super easy to change. All the normal stuff's gonna be super easy to change. Throttle body's gonna be super easy to change. Intake's easy to get to. Of course, this is DI, so if you get into the injection, you've probably gone pretty far, but there's the feed line to the DI injectors right there. So it's not gonna be a nightmare. Coolant lines look pretty simple right there. And also the charge pipe looks pretty reasonable as well. Everything looks like it's gonna be pretty reasonable to work on, especially the ECU. Pull the 2 clips and drag it out of there. It's crazy that this tiny little engine and its hybrid system makes 231 horsepower. It's hot outside. I had to jump in this thing and turn the air on. So it's a perfect time to go through all of the controls, and let's talk about, you know, the features it has and the features it doesn't have. What I will say is the features it has are pretty impressive for its price point, $41,000. So it delivers a lot of value at that price point, I think. The Hyundais really get a feature set that a lot of the other brands don't get until you might add another $10,000, $20,000 onto them. So I am always impressed by what Hyundai delivers and the value proposition there is here. Starting here on the driver's door, we've got 2 driver memories up here on close to the A-pillar right underneath it. We got the tweeter right there, memory 1, memory 2, and then down here on the door, of course, power mirrors, so left, right, the 4-way D-pad, lock, unlock, and let's see how many of these are full auto. It looks like the fronts are full auto up and down, the rears are not. A little passenger window lock right there. Nice door handles. Honestly, nice materials on this door panel too that really make it look good. The piano black. I know people love to hate on piano black. I don't have any issue with it. I do know if you have kids, you might have an issue with it. It's pretty common for them to scratch this stuff up, but I love it. And as long as you don't drag keys across it or anything, it really stays nice forever. You can just clean it up with a microfiber rag and some glass cleaner or something like that, and it always looks perfect. And it doesn't seem to show many scratches for me. I know it's a little point of contention, but I like the piano black, and I really like that you've got matte black, shiny black, white, and then this nice fabric. It really makes this whole door panel look very natural. A little storage down here in the door pocket. We've got room for the big water bottle and whatever else you need to throw in there. This does have the Bose system, so it's got the little kind of a hidden Bose logo down there on the speakers. And right here, we've got the dash illumination controls, parking brake, traction off, hold for the rear hatch motor, and 12-volt battery reset right there. Auto lights, very nice to see. Turn signals, all that good stuff on that stock. Here's our driver eye monitoring camera right there. Auto wipers, which is always good to see. Love that. Very happy it's there. The rear wiper controls are on here as well. And the steering wheel is a pretty simple layout with the paddles, which can control regen when you're in normal modes. And when you're in sport mode, they'll switch and control the gear shifts because this is a standard 6-speed automatic transmission. Look how light the power steering is though. That is really, really, really light power steering. It needs almost no force. The shifter is, of course, behind it. I like Hyundai's shifter a lot. I know a lot of people commented about it in my other videos, but I'm a big fan of this. Obviously, turn forward to put it in drive, turn backwards to put it in reverse, push on the end to put it in park. You don't have to try or think about that. It seems pretty simple to me, and I'm a big fan of that stock right there. Of course, back to the steering wheel controls. We've got our standard cruise control right there, cruise control up, down, resume, pause. These are your navigation for the menus on the dash. Kind of flip through everything right there. Look at that, we're currently getting 35.2 miles per gallon driving in the canyons. Still really, really impressive. And there's our follow distance, lane keeping, and all of our media controls right here. Mode, Siri, OK Google, whatever you're using. Volume control with push to mute, always good to have. Phone controls, and a favorites button you can program to whatever you want. One interesting thing here is a lot of the controls are in this island out here. The center console becomes this floating island, which looks really cool. I gotta give them credit for that. You've got your NFC reader right here, your Qi charger right here for your phone. Throw that on there and we should be charging. Look at that little green LED to tell you what's going on. Is this? Oh yeah, it's got the animation. I like it. I like that a lot. Big cup holders, of course, with the spring-loaded tabs to make sure whatever you put in there is going to fit. And then here in the island, we've got what's the center differential lock, I think. I mean, it looks like it. The light just says exactly what the button says. Drive modes. We've got snow, my drive, sport, and eco, and the gauges change to reflect that as well. Auto hold, always nice. You know, you don't want to have to hold your brakes at the stoplight, so auto hold is always amazing. Hill descent control, parking cameras, and of course parking sensor disable right there. So let's move back up the dash a little bit. Hyundai put all the buttons back. Everybody has been going on a button crusade on the internet. I'm a big touchscreen fan, you guys know. If you just load the thing with features and put them all on a screen, I'm pretty happy with it, honestly. I'm pretty much always happy as long as everything's there, no matter how you access it. But there are things that it's nice to be able to access at a moment's notice. Like you can use muscle memory, you don't have to dig through a touchscreen, whatever it is. Hyundai put back a lot of buttons and we're going to talk about them real quick. We've got a physical volume dial right under the engine start button, you know, because they almost work in tandem. You get in and you're like, oh, it's too loud, turn it back down. And then 3 seconds later, you're like, all right, turn it back up. It's a good song. You got the home button for the infotainment right there. Map for your navigation. We'll hit the button. It should show us a couple. Oh yeah, it's already there. It knows where we're at. And search, which searches the map, honestly. Really nice. A full keyboard. Look at that. How easy is that to enter whatever you need? Media controls right there. Jumps right over to all of our media sources. Seek back, track forward. Another favorite button you can program to whatever you want. I think if you hit it, it'll be like, hey, program something. Maybe it was programmed to CarPlay. And then we've got the setup button. And of course, this is normally manual tune or different parts of the menu right there. Underneath that, we've got the climate controls, a dial for the driver and the passenger. You can have it in sync or you can have it in dual zone. Heated seats, cooled seats. You can't have them both on at the same time. Driver only. Oh, cool. That's the real sync button where you can just turn off a zone. I love that. Fan controls right there. AC on and off. Recirc. There's your vent controls, and this is an LCD. And it's really cool. Look at the animations between these. How sweet is that? I love it. And then we've got defrost, rear defrost, heated steering wheel, and of course the seat controls for the passenger as well. All right, we'll go back to the normal mode there on AC. Actually, we'll just put it on full auto. Perfect. Underneath that, we've got our USB-C ports. They're both USB-C, which I'm a big fan of. And this one is the data plus charge or charge only. And then this one is charge only and push. Oh, how cool is that? I've never seen that before. Wow. A little push to lock 12-volt accessory outlet. That is new and definitely one of the coolest things I've seen in a long time. All right, I'm impressed. Now the key, it's got the egg key. We've seen this before on the Santa Fe. You can have this thing pull forward and back in and out of parking spots by just holding these buttons on the remote start as well. And the egg actually sits in your pocket really nicely. The egg is a Hyundai logo if you didn't notice. Pretty cool. Since we just talked about the infotainment controls, let's jump up and take a look at this screen because it's got cool things. I don't think I've ever seen this in a Hyundai before. We've got the HD radio. Obviously, HD radio is pretty standard on everything now. Love it. It sounds great. But this DTS button, how cool is that? So I guess DTS is just on. So let's let's see. Let's find out here. So let's go over to, HD radio data, cool. We're gonna go to setup and we're gonna go to sound. I'm assuming these DTS settings are gonna be in here. Dynamic speed compensation from Bose, cool. And startup maximum volume limit, always nice. So if you get in and turn the volume down automatically, you can just have the car do that for you. Works out great. Some people love it. I like the car just going back to whatever I was listening to before. Radio noise. Cool. Some reduction of background noise on FM. And then maximum, that's pretty sweet. FM radio noise reduction. Driver assistance. Oh, you can have the volume of each app when you plug in Android Auto and CarPlay. That's nice. Driver assistance, warning volumes, haptic warnings, parking safety priority. That's always, that one's contentious. I turn it off a lot, but also you find yourself manually turning the volume down when you're backing into a parking spot or something. I don't know why. It's just something we all do. This will do it for you if you want. So that's always cool. I don't see these DTS controls. Maybe there aren't any, but it's cool that it's got a DTS mode. We've gone through a lot of this already on other cars, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time going through it, but here's your heads-up display and cluster illumination controls. Oh, look at that. So you've got the buttons over here, and you can do it on the touchscreen. Look at that. How sweet is that? And it has full auto if you want. So auto for the win. I know a lot of people love to wear blue light glasses and are against, blue light late at night. Really cool. This thing can filter its blue light output automatically or only at night. So if you're driving home at night, you could have it be a little warmer and reduce eye strain with less blue light. That's a really cool feature. You gotta love the stuff Hyundai's doing in their infotainment here. All right, obviously, I've talked about this many times. Look how fast this is. It's incredibly fast. It works very well. Anything you click on loads almost instantaneously in here. It shows that your phone's charging right there. And let's jump back over to the media. Oh, so many awesome things this does. Yep, back to our media, FM. Wow, it even pulls in the logos for the radio stations. It shows you everything. There we go. We got the perfect station loaded up. Good old Pop 2K. One other hybrid exclusive screen I want to talk about. Look at that. It pulls the album art from XM. I love when cars are just integrated this well. My truck does it. I love that to death. Remember just a few years ago when the best thing we could hope for was radio data, just knowing what song was playing? And now we live in a completely different world where the cars are connected to the point that they can pull album art for every song that's playing, station art, traffic data. It's so good now. I think we may have forgotten how bad it was just a few short years ago, where a 2-line LCD display was like as good as you could get, and now it's just amazing. I can't say enough good things about it. All right, let's jump back over here to the hybrid menu, the one thing that you don't have in most of the Hyundais I look at. This is the hybrid menu. It shows you the hybrid fuel economy. It shows that I'm hurting it a lot by letting it idle right now. Obviously, electric motor use. And then of course you've got the diagram showing what the vehicle is doing. It'll have the arrows saying, engine charging battery, engine driving wheels, battery driving the motor, everything like that. It's always nice to see that diagram and know what the car is doing at any given time. Can you drill into anything? Oh, you can reset it. Check that out. I'm resetting it. Boom. Zeros. That's pretty cool. All right, well, we'll drive it some more and we'll reload that with some data. Weather, so nice. Gotta love having weather right there at your fingertips. The one thing CarPlay cannot do, for some reason, Apple will not let us have the weather in CarPlay. And of course, we do have the fingerprint reader here beside the screen that you can use. It might let you authenticate with Hyundai Pay, but I think it will also change user profiles, and you can lock the profiles to a login with your thumb, which is honestly pretty nice. This has a million other features. It's excellent infotainment. I'm telling you guys, it's got Hyundai Pay, which is really cool. I just found out, like, without even getting out of your vehicle, this can automatically pay for you at gas stations and some parking where you have to pay for parking. You can just open the Hyundai Pay thing and hit a button and you've paid. How cool is that? It's like plugging into a plug-in charge EV charger. You just pull up to a gas station, hit a button inside, and all of a sudden you're ready to pump gas. I mean, that's really nice. And it could save you a lot of time. It could keep you inside if it's pouring rain and you need to fill up your fuel. It's just cool. Of course, there's a digital key as well, so you can just unlock the car, start it with your phone, tap your phone on the NFC reader inside to be the key, it's always nice to have NFC keys and digital keys. Hyundai hooked it up with all of it, but that's the tour of the infotainment. I think we've talked about it enough. Let's talk about everything else really quick. We're gonna move through the rest of this tour pretty quickly here. Standard rear view mirror, not a camera or anything like that. It has home link, which is nice. Oh, the home link is in the mirror. I think I've mentioned it before on another Hyundai, but love that. That is so nice. All right, lighted. It is lighted. Yep, you have to hit the button, but of course, if you close the sun visor, it shuts the light back off. Giant sunroof. I talked about the panoramic roof a little bit. It's huge, and it goes at least halfway back. It goes pretty far back here. And of course, it's got a sunshade as well. So that is the giant sunroof. Blue link button, simple buttons for all the lights here. Look at that. If you close it all the way, it does all of it at once. My truck doesn't do that, and every time it doesn't do it, it really bothers me. So there's a notch for the sunshade, and if you push all the way when you close the roof, it does it all. How nice. That sunshade's huge, and I'd be using that a lot. I use the sunshade more than I ever use the sunroof. It's nice to have extra light sometimes, and then a lot of times you just want to keep the heat down. All right, storage for days. You can throw everything you want down here in the center. Plenty of room. Look, Hyundai made me this just for this press event. Pretty cool. My first press event, guys. I couldn't be happier. Shout out to them. Obviously, they don't pay me for any reviews and never have. I beg for these cars from dealerships, but this time they invited me out. So that is definitely cool. It has its own little lanyard. I got to drive a car with the press for the first time ever. Embargoes and everything. So cool. Rules. Get to spend a lot of time with the car. When I borrow these from dealerships, I don't usually get to put many miles on them. The dealerships just, they have to sell the car like a day later. So you don't get to do anything crazy. You kind of have to be nice to the car, all of that fun stuff. But when it's a press event, you're allowed to do really whatever you want with the car, so you can really feel it out and find out, what your thoughts actually are on the car. So this is really cool. Anyway, back to the car. Vents, simple, easy, integrated into this great looking strip. Glove box right there, manual, all that good stuff. Is that soft open? Oh, soft open. You can even hear the little gas strut in there. Pretty cool. The center console is deep and there is nothing inside it. No ports, no lights, nothing like that. I mean, it's not a luxury car. And we've got some storage right there in the piano black area as well. Although it's more of a place just so you can grab the latch and open this thing up. Full power seats in the Limited, as you would expect. Forward, back, up, down, tilt, lumbar. Great seats. They've been very comfortable. I mean, I've already put nearly 100 miles on this, and it's a very comfy car. And here in the back seat, we'll do one quick tour, mostly just to talk about the one thing that I absolutely love: heated seats with physical buttons in the rear. Check that out. So you got the heated seat button, power windows, of course, child locks, of course. And is this recline? I think it might be. It is recline. Oh yeah, the back passengers can recline if they want. How cool is that? 2 cup holders or a center seat. Like I said, I've got my water in there. Can't really close that. And of course, 2 USB-C ports down there under the vents, and storage in the backs of the seats. I think that's the entire 2025 Hyundai Tucson. Look at these windows on the C-pillar. That's pretty cool. Gotta love that. Lots of light coming in. It makes it feel even bigger. So now let's get this thing out on the road, take it for a drive, and see what it's like. One of the cool things, of course, about it being a hybrid is you can hear that it's basically silent as we pull out. The only thing you hear is a little bit of noise from the road, and then some quick little acceleration from the electric motor, and the engine fires right up and gets us on down the road. Now, this isn't a race car. It is a compact SUV.
That I know.
So you're looking for a vehicle for, you've got one kid, maybe another one on the way, and you need to move your family around. This is perfect for that. So we're not really going to talk about handling or try to throw it into any of these amazing technical corners we have here, but it drives really well. The steering's very light, the perfect amount of assist. And even right there, the camera saw the lines on the road for just a second and just pulled it right back to center, exactly the way you'd expect with it having lane centering turned on. One thing about this road though is there really aren't any markings, so I don't get to use a lot of the driver aids. We've got radar cruise, as you would expect, and it works really well, but no highway driving assist or any of the things like that I am a big fan of from Hyundai. Other than that though, the tech package is awesome, just like we talked about. After driving this thing for a little while though, there's a couple of things, just a couple little things that bothered me a little bit. there's no lane markings on this road, so sometimes the car thinks that I'm not staying centered in the lane and then tells me I need to take a break, even though there was just, like, the lane markings disappeared. So it decided I needed to take a break, even though I wasn't overrunning the lane markings or anything like that. And also, I think a lot of that might be the eye tracking. It does have forward attention warning assist, so it is watching your eyes to see if you're paying attention to the road. And even right now, you can see I look over for just a second and it doesn't bother me at all, which is how it should be. And weirdly, it just like false alarms sometimes. It says you should take a break. It's only done it a couple times. It may not be something that actually happens very often. And I had this amazing panoramic roof open for a little bit, but even with the air deflector that popped up automatically, it was a little bit loud in here. But other than that, this thing drives exactly the way you want it to for a family SUV. It's not gonna beat your family up. It's just soaking up the bumps on these kind of, they're not exactly fire roads, you know, but there's no lane markings, they're narrow, and they're not super well maintained. And it's honestly a pretty comfy drive. So here we are doing some canyon carving in the compact SUV. And the best part of this is getting up to 38 miles per gallon in the hybrid. So at least you could be out here for hours, possibly days, without running out of gas on a full tank. Absolutely wild. And another thing that's pretty crazy is I filled the battery completely up on a descent. So I was in regen so long that it said battery full, no more regen possible, just because huge hills. And the cool part about that is you just get to use that battery right back up, going up ascents like this one. So big climb, you can hear the engine spin back up. The hybrid battery helps out the engine a ton and really makes these canyon drives super smooth. As you can imagine, we made it to Mexico and it's time to do a quick little 0 to 60 here. So let's go. Full throttle. Oh wow. Quicker than you'd expect with that hybrid power. Listen to how quiet this thing is. I think that might be the most calming thing I've ever put in a video. Just it's absolutely perfect, and you know, you're not disturbing. Absolutely perfect, and you're not disturbing nature at all. There you go. That is the 2025 Hyundai Tucson Hybrid H-Track Limited. It's got all the things. All-wheel drive, hybrid, excellent gas mileage. I mean, this is a really good call for a smaller family. Personally, I'm in love with the Santa Fe. You guys know from my video, I'm in love with the new Santa Fe. If I'm buying something, it's probably going to be that. But also, if I didn't need that much room, this might be the answer. I love toasters, refrigerators, whatever you want to call that thing. That's why I really love the Santa Fe. It's got amazing straight up rectangle lines, but this looks like an actual car. So it might be what you're looking for. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop WatchJRGo.com for cool shirts just like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. And I will talk to you next time.